Hey, what's up, guys? Chris here, aka IRISH2K. This is the IRISH2KCAST, episode 13. I'm aware it's been over 2 years since that episode 12 came out, and I went through a lot of personal things and growth as a human being, turned 30, and decided, you know what, I kind of like doing that podcast, but I'm definitely going to change the way that I do it because it just felt overly dramatic and pretentious, and that was never my intention. That was never my hope. I like doing a podcast because it's fun, and I like talking about things that make me, intrigued or laugh, and those podcasts were very personal. That's why none of them are on my channel anymore. But I did watch episode 12 back to kind of get a reference point of where I was in my life at the time, and it was very entertaining. Very, very entertaining. Very emotional, very dramatic, per the usual. March of 2019 was when that episode came out, and right around that time I was wrapping up a bankruptcy, which was dope. But also talked very deeply about getting a dissolution finalized, and was very emotional in my conversation about it, and truly believed that I was going to have this moment or incident occur. And I'm gonna be straight up with you, it was none of that at all. We agreed on everything. That's why it was a dissolution. Typically that alone can prevent any and all altercations. But we filled out what felt like 487,000 pages. We went in front of a judge in May of this year, 2021, and they made us repeat some stuff, and we were super positive, super in a good mood, and so was the judge. And so they honestly, she thanked us for being her first case of the day, and walked out of there. I bought McDonald's for us, unwillingly, by the way. I was kind of forced into that. And then I got dropped off. That was the end of it. And after that, I was no longer legally married, and I was okay with it. I've talked about it with friends and family. That dissolution was not for me, because it didn't affect my life at all. Emotionally, mentally, my love life, none of it. Didn't affect any of it. Being married, irrelevant on my side. But since that last episode, my children's mother met someone really amazing who I'm a big fan of, and they're engaged. So for them it made more sense. So I didn't fight it or anything. I went right along with it, and we got it taken care of. But that was the dissolution. Wasn't this dramatic moment? I didn't have to wait for her to leave, and then I could leave, and then I went really in depth on the emotional side of it. And I think that's just where I was in my life at the time. Here's what I'll say: if anybody's going through a recent breakup, feel all the feelings. Go through all of it. Be mad, be sad, be happy, be meh. Go through it all, because eventually one day you just get to where I'm at now, which is me. You don't care about nobody else. You just want to do what's best for you until you find someone new. And I've been in that mental predicament for a while. Needless to say, I'm in a much better place than I was in March of 2019. And episode 13 is probably the happiest version of me that I've ever displayed publicly. And this podcast is now finally getting the treatment and the production and the care that it deserves, because I'm in the right place to do it. And this podcast is meant to be more than that. It's meant to be about my interests and things I find funny, and it's not meant to be this open window into my private life, which I very much made it about episodes 1 through 12. Which was okay. It was therapeutic. Hell, people were messaging me constantly telling me that they enjoyed listening to it, which was fucking mind-blowing to me. And maybe it's because they liked the drama. Maybe because they could relate to what I was going through. Most of the people that reached out were men. So I get it. I was scratching an itch for myself, but I was touching a lot of people's personal lives because they were going through a similar thing. And You know, people like to share. People like to know that they're not alone. And to anybody going through that now, you're not alone. You have people in your life that you can reach out to. What the only thing I'd recommend, if you're someone going through this, male or female, distract yourself. Do things for you. Don't wait around. Don't sit around and do nothing. Find something. Write. Game. Create content. I mean, honestly, my YouTube and my friends in the gaming world and the things that we did in the last 3-4 years has been nothing short of therapeutic and life-saving. So, do stuff. I know that feels like an oversimplification, but I promise you, do stuff. Do as much stuff as you possibly can. Because idle hands are the devil's plaything. One idle mind is poisonous. That is my phrase. An idle mind is poisonous because your brain does not have an off switch. It doesn't. There's death, but that's not a choice. Believe me. I went through that process and that phase too. Probably one of the biggest reasons why episode 12 happened in 2019 and not, a consistency. Reason we're not on episode 58 or 105 or some shit. We're on 13 because from 12 to 13, there was a darkness there. But I grew from it. I mean, people probably said more times than I can count, time will heal it. Give it time, wait. And nobody wants to hear that shit who's going through pain. If I had a knife in my fucking neck and someone said, wait, time will heal the wound. It's like, yeah, no shit, but there's a knife in my neck now and I want that gone. And that's what that emotional fucking pain feels like. It feels like there's a knife in your neck. You're just like, fucking take it out. And nobody can. Nobody's strong enough for you. And you're not strong enough to do it yourself yet. So do stuff. Be a part of stuff. Put yourself out there. Take risks. I didn't do all of that right away. Honestly, it was my dating life that kind of helped me build that confidence up. And it got me to the point where I was like, man, fuck dating. Give this up? Give this pure happiness up? It would take somebody very special to make me do that. Somebody that I truly believe would not hurt what I've built. And once you've reached that level, where dating feels more like a job and like effort and work, that's when you've reached where I'm at. That's when you've reached the pinnacle of what you're going through. You've reached the peak. You've gone through the valley. Now you're at the peak. And that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. I'm at the peak. And I know it's like this. I wish it was like this. I wish it stayed up here, but I know it's like this. You know what I mean? That's life. I'm with it. But yeah, it would take somebody incredibly special to pull me out of this right now. Not saying that person doesn't exist. Not saying that person isn't in my life now. Who knows? Time will tell. And patience. You gotta have patience. Nothing is quick. Nothing worth keeping in life happens fast. And that's where I'm at. Patience. Waiting. Letting things develop. And part of doing stuff for me is this podcast, talking. I love talking. In case you didn't clearly see that. I am a fucking talkaholic. I could talk all day. Gift of gab is what I've been told. Sure. I don't know what that means, but I get what it means, but it's not something that I've been like practicing. It just comes naturally to me. I don't care who you are. We can talk about anything. But, this podcast moving forward needs to be something more fun. And it will be. But I'm not afraid to talk about emotional stuff. Because that's who I am. If I didn't do that, if I stuck to just the giggles and just the pop culture stuff and just this and didn't really touch on everything that I know that I care about, I'd be doing myself a disservice. And you, if you enjoy this kind of thing. And I hope you do. I hope you come back And every week, we can just see where the world is and talk about it. Talk about ourselves. Talk about life. Because that's what I wanted this to be. It's a me show. It's a show with me in it. It's about me, and it's about things that I care about. You don't like it, don't watch it. You do? Stay tuned. It's only going to get better. And, not. It sounds like I'm wrapping up. I'm not. just kind of ensuring or assuring that the future of this show is not going to be this, like, creepy private window to a bitter person. We're done with that. We've passed it. So, guess the next part of this episode, we can talk about the filler. What happened in between March of 2019 and June of 2021, which is where we're at now. I turned 30. And the craziest thing about turning 30 is you truly feel that shit. I think I went a couple of days where I was like, fuck. 30. Ugh. But the crazier thing was, I sat down with my mother, had a conversation. And I talked about, and literally in the last episode, how old my mother was when I was born. And it's not that big a deal. But she was 15 when I was born. Now, do basic math. What's 15 plus 15? 30. So that means that my mother was my age now, raising 15-year-old me. And 15-year-old me was a horrible man. I'm kidding. No, I was your typical dramatic, lover boy, 15-year-old. I loved love. I loved romance. I loved romantic comedies. But when you're surrounded by a bunch of like testosterone-filled fucking teenagers who play football and lift weights and we don't date girls, we fuck girls, and you're dealing around that, you can't be who I actually was at the time, which is a emotional lover boy who just wanted to have a girlfriend. That's all I cared about. Legitimately all I gave a fuck about was Notre Dame, having a girlfriend, and having everybody know how much I loved her. Which is hilarious, because I look back at like the people that I'm associated with now, and like my best friends and the people that I call my brothers and my sisters, if you will. And my best friend in the whole world, in the gaming world, you know him as Chief Savage, but some of y'all just know him as Vega. When he was 15, he was not giving a fuck about anything that I was giving a fuck about. And the irony is, now he's a married man with a child. And I'm the single guy. Just funny how the world works. But no, 30. I couldn't deal with me at 15. I could not raise a 15-year-old me right now. That would be incredibly... Anxiety is putting it lightly. Just knowing how I was, man. I wasn't the best behaved child when it came to my parents. I was actively avoiding them. I didn't do anything bad though. Like compared to like people telling me like they stole shit or they were out drinking and shit. Man, when I was 15, I was scared of my mom so much. If somebody handed me a beer, I'd have threw it. That's just honesty. I feared my mom. Not because she like would hit me or anything, but I just didn't want the wrath, man. The yelling and the disappointment. Like, fuck all that shit, man. I'd rather just be left alone. Give me my PlayStation 2 and fuck off. I got nothing for you. But it was, I thought it was funny that I am the age that my mother was raising a 15-year-old son, a 13-year-old daughter, do the math real quick, 9-year-old other daughter, and a 3-year-old son, 3-year-old little boy. 30. Yeah, no. I couldn't do it. Hell no. I couldn't just take all the other kids out and all the life responsibilities she was dealing with at 30. No fucking way. No fucking way. Couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. I refuse. Even married, I refuse. Even the love of my life, I refuse. But I'm not far off, though. I'm 30 years old. I have a 10-year-old son. who's turning 11 this year in a couple of months. So I'm not too far off, but my son is very special to me. He is autistic, but he is functioning just like a normal human being. You can obviously tell that he's unique in his own right. The way he communicates, the way he interprets data and analyzes circumstances. He's nothing like I was at 11 and 10. But that doesn't mean anything bad. That just means he's different, and therefore he gets a different type of raising. But I love that kid, man. He's truly my mini-me. He's a gamer. He's a nerd. He's everything I wish I had the confidence to be when I was 11. Because I'm telling you right now, I was never my true authentic self until like today at 30, when I just don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? My son is 11, and through autism and being half me, he doesn't give a fuck. He's who he wants to be, and I love him to death. And on top of raising an 11-year-old, I have a daughter who's turning 6 this year. And boy, oh boy, is that little girl a female me. So she's got an attitude. She's way more confident than I'll ever be in my life. Both my children are incredibly confident. I don't think they know what the word insecurity means. And I hope they never find out. I hope they stay this confident, because geez Louise, if I had an ounce of their energy or an ounce of their confidence, I would be ruling the world right now as a 30-year-old. But no, they make every part of my day better. Knowing they exist, knowing that I am the luckiest man in the world when it comes to being around them. So, the world is their oyster, and I'm just lucky to be a part of it. Whoever they become, I just hope I get to be around forever, or as long as I can, obviously. But that's one thing. If you're someone who was in my position, I say do stuff, but pour your heart into your loves, man. Your families, your friends, pour your heart into them. Give in, and you'll get it back. My best friend, my brother, Chief, he talks about matching energy. We had a conversation today about that. And that's what I would say. Pour your heart, pour your love, pour it. Anybody that you can. You'll get love back, and that will fill your soul. And you will come out of that fucking happy. Then that was the problem. Me in 2019, I was shutting the world off, man. I'd let a couple people in, and it wasn't enough. Pour your heart out, man. Give everybody your love. Feel confident in yourself. Feel confident that you have people who care about you, because you do. The moment I did that and I got it, and it was reciprocated, ooh, cloud 9. I was on cloud 9, and still am to this day. I've got friends that would bend over backwards for me. And, ditto. Same to them. But 2019 to 2021, what else happened? March of 2019. I'm trying to think. I think I just blew into the mic, which is fucking hilarious. But brain is melting right now. Why can I think of... Oh, goodness me. Speaking of Chief, his daughter was born. My goddaughter. The cutest fucking kid. Like, she's so tiny. It's concerningly. Like, she's concerningly tiny. And I think I held her for like 4 seconds. And then she wanted mommy. Because let's be real. Mommy's the toughest woman on the planet. All moms are, but her mom... There ain't many women in this world that I fear. My mom is up there, and her mother is right next to her. Up my... Like, I knew... You don't cross them. But she's just the greatest, man. For the sake of security style, just Evie was what I dubbed her. But yeah, man, she's a little spitfire, man. She got a lot of her daddy in her. She doesn't give a fuck. She will argue with you. She doesn't know words, so it's mostly yelling. But she explores like a motherfucker. I mean, when we were kids, Chief and I swear to God, this man would climb anything, travel anything, walk anything, run anywhere. Like, he didn't give a shit. If you said, It existed. He tried it. And I think Evie is right behind him. He's going to come home one day from work or be like, where is my daughter? And she's going to be on the roof just chilling up there. And he can't be mad at nothing, man, because that's his bloodline right inside of her, man. So, but no, I'm incredibly grateful for that honor. I remember it was on my birthday. They told me that they wanted me to be her godfather, and obviously living across the country, if that role would ever need to be implemented, would be difficult. But I'd move mountains for that little girl. But that's obvious. So yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. Pour your heart, pour it into people. People will return it. I leaned heavily on my brother through all of the things that I was going through, and look what I got in return. He brought a beautiful little girl in this world. His wife brought a beautiful little girl in this world. And to collectively, I gave both of them my love, and in return, they gave me something that I words can't describe how much that means to me, how much that role and that little girl means to me. So, yeah, I mean that's all you can do in this life is just give, do, be. Try not to take more than you do, and more than you give, and more than your presence. Because, life is just like money. If you spend it all, you ain't got nothing there. But if you invest it, you will get a return. And that's what I've learned. In life, if you invest in people, people will invest in you. And do that with enough people, man, you'll be the richest man or woman in the world. So, the Chris that you see today, the IRISH2K that you see today is doing that. Another example of pouring your love into people. Back in October of 2020, I had reached what I can only describe as a breaking point mentally, because one of my very close friends, another brother, COVID hit his family hard. And ironically, or I guess unfortunately would be the better word for that, his PlayStation 4, which is what allows him to connect to us, broke. Just went out. And we went months kind of just waiting to see how he would deal with it. But it became inevitable. The reality became inevitable that he wasn't going to be able to afford to fix it or replace it. So in October, I was just like, you know what? Screw this shit, man. I miss my friend. I need him back. The world needs him back, in my opinion. So I did a charity stream of sorts. It was a 24-hour stream where I asked people to donate money to bring my friend back so we could buy him a PlayStation 4, get him up and running, and get him back so he can do what he wanted to do, which was create content. The man wanted to create content like I do. He had already made a few videos, and quite a collection of videos actually. But we reached that goal. I had to shave my beard, which was not fucking happy about. Happy that I had to do it because the charity goal was reached, but not happy the way I fucking looked. I hate my face without a beard. I feel fully face here, full face, handsome. Charming, debonair, if you will. Minus the beard, and I look like a baby face fucking Uncle Fester, and I was not happy about it at all. I wore a fucking face mask during live streams. That's how much I didn't like it. But moving on, we got him back through charitable donations, through the biggest hearts in the world I can imagine. There was so much going on at the time with COVID and everything. The fact that anybody had any money to donate to this cause was fucking, oh my God, my heart melted. I cried on the Instagram post because I couldn't believe that I could do it. I couldn't believe it happened. I put forth what I felt would be the forum to allow that to take place, and it did. And I fucking thanked so many people who put even $1 in, because that helped. What I will say is, don't ever ever get tips or donations through Streamlabs. Those motherfuckers make it impossible to get that money. PayPal. Only PayPal. Promise. Fucking just a nightmare. It like the stream was in October and I couldn't even do anything for him until December or like mid to late November. Like, oh. But needless to say, we got him back. And he's made amazing videos on his channel, which is Horizon Has Fallen. All one word. YouTube.com. Horizon Has Fallen. And, you know, I get to be in those videos. I don't know why I can't word that right. And it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure being around him. It's a pleasure working with him. It's a pleasure creating content together. Seeing his artistic vision is a fucking gift because, you know, how can I explain this? If Picasso had friends when he was doing his shit, I feel like one of those people. I'm watching a mastermind at work. And I would give anything to see this kid blow up. Or at least get a chance to showcase his art on a higher level. But time will tell for that. But again, my point with all that was I poured my heart into someone, into something, into a cause, into a belief, into an ideal or idea. And it worked. The people that cared for this person too, the people who cared about me, the people who cared about what we do and what gaming means to people, they came together and they revived my friend Coda. And that was the hashtag revive Coda. I'm not going to lie. Some of them I think donated just to make me shave my beard. Which is like, thank you, but like, fuck you. You know what I mean? Actually, double fuck you because I really didn't like the way I looked. But, you know, it was great. It was great. It was a great experience. It was a great time. I enjoyed the live stream was amazing. I got to play Fall Guys with my little girl, which was so fun. It was a great time. A lot of laughs. And it's paid off with what he's been able to do since. But yeah, I wish I could reach out, and anybody who's going through that, I wish I could just pull your heart and just take the bad out and put in nothing but good, and then, you know, get you to where I'm at. But unfortunately, I can't do that for you. So me being here talking on this thing, I hope at least gives you some sign, some light at the end of the tunnel, because I promise you there is. At the end of the tunnel, there is a joyful day. But you have to work. You have to put in the time and you have to put in the effort, and you can't blame anybody, man. Stop that shit too. It's nobody's fault. Life happens. Even if you got cheated on, man. Whatever. They left you, you left them. Fucking drop it. Just drop it. Don't blame yourself. Don't blame other people. Stop living in the past. Because there is nothing you can do to change what happened. Nothing. So, focus. Pour that love into people. Do stuff. Be what you want to be. Which inevitably is just happy. So do what you think you would do if you were happy. What would you try if you were happy? What would you participate in? Do those things. And one day, it's not acting like you're happy or doing the things that you would do if you're happy. You're happy and you're doing what you want to do. And in my mind, that's the win. That's the satisfaction. That's the goal in life. That's the meaning of life, is living to your happiest potential. And I'm there. But I still got a ways to go. I'm happy. But there's so many more things that I want. I do want to eventually meet someone. Someone that adds to my life, but does not take away anything that makes my life special. Just adds to it. And I hope that I also add to theirs. Because trust me, there's nobody in this world that I want to take anything away from. I would love to just fit in to what they already got going on. And if I ever find that, great. But until then, I'm good being me. But if you've watched this episode, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to click and watch a video of mine. If you like the episode, there's a like button right there. Please click that. If you're not subscribed, subscribe. I do other shit too. I'm a gamer. I got other videos. I'm an asshole. And my videos in gaming prove that. And, check those out. And come back next week. I'll have another episode for you. Might not be Friday, like time-wise. It might not be exactly when it comes out, but it will be 1 week. So either Friday night, Saturday, who knows. But 1 week. Episode 14 will be coming out. But this is 13. And thank you for watching. Here's your music.